As a small business CFO, I talk to a lot of business owners who are confused about what they can and can't deduct when it comes to meals and entertainment. And it is confusing because the rules have changed over the past couple years, and some ways that we were doing things for a really long time actually got changed in 2018. And so I wanted to make this video to explain this to you guys. So this video is all about what the IRS says in 2023 about what is deductible for meals and entertainment. So if that sounds good, please stay tuned. Thank you for being here. This is the Clara CFO Group channel, and we help small business owners with their finances. So that is what this channel is all about. You'll find lots of content here that will help you understand your finances better, read your P&L better, learn how to use QuickBooks better, all of those kind of things. So definitely check out all of the videos that we have, but we're happy to have you here. And if this kind of stuff is helpful to you, please make sure you are subscribed. All right, well, let's go ahead and talk about entertainment first. Okay, so entertainment is not a deductible business expense anymore. Okay, anymore. It used to be you could deduct some entertainment expenses, but now, ever since 2018, with the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, also known as the Trump tax plan, when that was put into place, it took away the entertainment expenses. Okay, so you could no longer, no entertainment expenses are allowed. So this is really important because a lot of people were operating in this way of thinking, oh yeah, I could take clients to a baseball game, or take them out for golf, or do all these different things, and thinking that it could be a business expense. But actually, no, it is not. So no entertainment expenses at all. Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about what entertainment expenses are, because I see that getting a little bit confused and people not really knowing if something that they're doing would be considered entertainment from the IRS perspective, okay? So let's talk a little bit about what the IRS would consider entertainment. So they have, I'm gonna read from a list here because I've got some of these written down. Anything like nightclubs, social clubs, athletic events, sporting clubs, yachts, hunting, fishing, vacation, etc. It could go on and on, but I think you kind of get the gist here. It's basically anything that you could be having fun at, it might be considered entertainment, okay? So if it sounds fun, or it sounds like you could have fun there, it might be something that you need to think, is this an entertainment expense? And should I be running this through my business? Or is this something that we should be doing something different if we're doing it for marketing purposes or something? But this is pretty important, okay? So along with that, you also can't deduct any dues for these types of clubs that might be considered entertainment. So for example, you can't deduct country club dues, even if you take all of your clients out to the golf course and that's like something that you like to do with them and you guys discuss business and it's all fun and games, but you're, getting, legitimate work done, while you're doing that, still doesn't mean that you can put this through as a business expense, okay? So it is not allowed. Social clubs, country clubs, airline clubs, hotel clubs, I'm not exactly sure what a hotel club would be, but those as what the IRS has listed as not allowed. Okay, so just keep that in mind and just keep that in your head. If you're probably going to have fun there, it probably is entertainment. Okay, let's just keep that simple. All right, let's talk about meals. So entertainment's easy. Meals gets a little bit more complicated. So for a long time, we had been able to deduct 50% of meals for the tax return purposes. And now, for the past 2 years, we're doing this video in 2023, but for 2021 and 2022, there were 2 years where we could deduct 100% of meal expenses if they were purchased from a restaurant. And the IRS was doing that, I think, to help with the restaurants that were hit really hard during COVID. But now, as of January 1, 2023, we're back to 50%. So let me explain really quickly what this looks like practically so we're not confused here. So if you have a receipt from, let's say you took a couple employees out to lunch and you have a receipt and it was $85 worth of food and tax, and then you put a $15 tip on there and it was $100, just to make it easy. $100, that would mean that only $50 would be tax deductible. Now, you would still run that through your accounting system and you would have, your, meals line item on your P&L, and it might have, let's say it's $3,000 by the end of the year, your tax CPA or whoever's doing your tax return should see that line item and be able to take it and cut it in half and give you 50% of that for the actual tax return. So your P&L, your profit and loss statement, might look a little different than what your tax return looks like. And this might be one of those reasons, is because of that 50% deductibility. Now, there are a few exceptions to the 50% deductibility rule that I want to tell you guys about. So there are times where we can deduct 100% of the meals, and I'm going to go through some of those exceptions. There's a couple more exceptions as well, and you can find everything that I've been talking about in publication 463 with the IRS. I'll make sure to link it below. So you can check out the extra exceptions, but I never see anybody really running into those situations. So I'm going to talk about the ones that you might actually run into on a regular day-to-day basis, okay? Most small business owners will have something like this, that they might have an opportunity to have this 100% deductibility. So the first one is that if you spend money on meals and somebody else is reimbursing you for those. So let's say I flew out to a client location and, visiting during their strategy meeting, and it's an annual meeting, and we, went out there and I had meal expenses during that trip. But my client and I negotiated that they would reimburse dollar for dollar any expenses that I had on that travel. If that was the case, then since I'm getting reimbursed for those expenses, I would be able to deduct the 100% of that meal. So if it was $50 and I gave that receipt to the client so that they paid me that $50 for that meal, then I can deduct the 100%. And that makes sense, right? Because it's kind of just flowing through. The IRS wouldn't be like, you get $50 from the client and then you can only deduct, half of that. That wouldn't make any sense. So now on the client side, on their side, since they're paying me for meals, that side is only 50% deductible on their books. So I'm not penalized for that, but they would be getting that 50% deduction for reimbursing me for meals. Okay, so hopefully that's clear. Second thing that we see often is you can deduct 100% of the meals when it's for employee recreation. They call this like recreational expenses for employees. This is like if the company were to do something like for the employees that's nice. Let's say they have a summer picnic and they invite all the families, or let's say that there's a holiday party and it's really the company doing something nice for the employees to have fun, okay? So those expenses, like your holiday party and the picnics, and there might be some things here and there, they are 100% deductible. Now, I can see people's wheels turning right now. It's through the screen, and I can see some people going, well, I could kind of make some of my expenses, like everything's kind of for my employees to have fun. I bring in lunch so my employees can have fun. And, so I can see people kind of rationalizing that all of their meal expenses could be put into this category. But, be careful with that. Really, if the IRS sees that all of your expenses for meals are 100% deductible and you're not really having anything that's 50%, it's going to look a little skewed and it might, trigger you to be looked into. So keep in mind that like these recreational activities for employees, it's going to be kind of few and far between. It's probably not something that's a regular part of your business expenses. Okay, so keep that in mind. And then the last exception that I wanted to mention to you guys today is if you have a meal that you are catering or you are preparing or anything like that, and you are doing it for outreach, so more of like a marketing expense. Let's say that you are a business owner and you work in like a business park, and you might want to have a barbecue and invite all of the neighbors around to come and join you for a barbecue. So it's kind of like socializing, networking, maybe a little bit of marketing, but basically just kind of for other people. This would be more in line with like a marketing type expense. So that's why the IRS says that these types of meals can be 100% deductible. Okay, so it might be something to think about if you're, looking for ways to do outreach. Just keep that in mind. If you are, looking for opportunities and maybe trying to be a little bit creative, you can potentially get 100% of that deducted. That is what you need to know. Again, if you want to check out the IRS publication 463, it gives lots of details. There's a whole meals and entertainment section that you can read through if you want to get clear on any of these details. But also, let me know if you have any questions in the comment section below. Happy to answer those. And make sure you are also subscribed to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. All right, bye everybody.